But we were on SKERMON this week, and on SKERMON double-checked to make sure he had remembered, and he had remembered. So Trent is on today, and let's welcome him down the front.
I've got to bring the glasses just in case I need them. Before I get into my SKERMON though, can I just say thank you for your God shot this morning? That really just, with the week I've had, spoke clearly for me. So I just want to do that. And the second part of that spoke clearly was a couple of months ago, I started getting some phone calls from my sister with some stuff going on in her family. And they don't go to church at all. And so part of that is then you're just praying, okay, God, where did Dan and I help bring God into a situation that is getting very messy? This morning, we're sitting and get a photo of my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, and I had shirts from a particular church in Emerald. And that just goes, again, just ties in that we don't know what God's up to. That we've been praying for years, and suddenly, out of the blue, in the middle of a crazy week for me, I get something that goes, God's in control, God's got it, God understands what's going on. And so I just want to, often the God shot just feels like a quick introduction on where we're going. But for me this morning, that spoke. So thank you. But what I wanted to share on this morning was something totally different to all of that. And it relates to a little bit of me and a journey. Because if you know me, I don't sing at all. Well, I make a joyful noise. I can't keep a beat. I can't play a musical instrument. I can't even play it. Apparently, I can't even clap in time. So, and so for me, part of this, and at the same time on that, the other artistic natures of being able to draw, being able to do things, that's not me. That's just not me. I'm not artistic. So therefore, part of where I was coming from was going, I tried being creative to being artistic and realised that the two are separate, that we have a creative God. Now, me being also in the finance area started to think, and you start to limit and put your own limits on. Being in that finance area, you start to think that the level of your creativity is tied to which pen pocket do I wear, colour do I wear today, or what colours can I put on a spreadsheet? And again, that's not creative. That's just limiting the creativity of our God. And I think from the beginning, in Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And for me, it's been that little bit of a journey where it says, we are a creative being. No matter who we are, we don't have to be artistic, but we are creative. We're created to be in his image. If he is a creator and can create amazing things around us, we're also part of nature inside it. And so that for me has been a little bit where, how do I outwork that is something to think about, because I work in a finance area, I work in a Christian organisation in management, and sometimes when you're just dealing with finances, you suddenly go, well, you're not allowed to be creative with accounting. You've got to follow the rules, but in that, there's things then that you can still be in who you are. And so I think it's for me is, I may not be artistic, but as we look at things, how do I outwork God's creativity in my life? That if we're created to be in his image, how do we be ourselves creative? And so, if a creator brings into existence, and the definition of creative is marked by the ability or power to create, given to nothing, we have a quality of something created rather than just to be imitated. God's created us all unique. He's created us all with a gifting and with a passion. And I think for me, part of that creativity is then going to God and going, God, what have you created me for? Who are you in me? And therefore then, how do we start to outwork that calling and that destiny which God's got creative in that? We had lunch this week with some friends of ours who I think it's just this last couple of days, stepping back, they'd been for 2 years trying to work on it back into Africa to be on some mission field stuff that they'd been doing pre-COVID. Things happened, they had to come back. So they've been trying to get access back to parts of Africa to do this ongoing work. And doors were closing. And so suddenly, a couple of weeks ago, a different door opened that was saying, here's an opportunity in Fiji. And so within weeks, I've gone from Africa to this week landing in Fiji with their 3 kids. And suddenly going, God, what is? And they're in that stage at the moment with culture shock, misunderstandings, and trying to get to, God, you've called us here. How do we outwork then that passion, that calling, that creativity for the family in Fiji in an area they hadn't been used to? So part of us is in that calling, is just understanding who are we, and what's God calling us to do. Because we're there to imitate God, therefore in everything we do, we look after him. Developing our creative nature helps to experience the greatness of God in a majestic way. Creativity is intimately woven into God's character and makes him evident to us and through us. So I think for me, just wanting to keep it short and simple is, don't just think like I did, that creativity and being artistic is tied together. They are different. Being creative is like a core element of who God is. And find and develop that passion that God's got you to actually outwork that calling and that creativity and what he's got for you. So that's what I want to leave there today. Thank you.